in the lower left corner of the screen, which displays a large tooltip displaying a thumbnail of the start screen. However, Windows 8.1 added the Start button back to the taskbar after many complaints, but removed the preview thumbnail. 114, 115. Swiping from the left edge of a touch screen or clicking in the top left corner of the screen allows one to switch between apps and desktop. Pointing the cursor in the top left corner of the screen and moving down reveals a thumbnail list of active apps. 115. Aside from the removal of the Start button and the replacement of the Aero Glass theme with a flatter and solid-colored design, the desktop interface on Windows 8 is similar to that of Windows 7. 116. Removed features. Several notable features were removed in Windows 8. Support for playing DVD video was removed from Windows Media Player due to the cost of licensing the necessary decoders, especially for devices which do not include optical disc drives at all, and the prevalence of online streaming services. For the same reasons, Windows Media Center is not included by default on Windows 8, but Windows Media Center and DVD playback support could be purchased in the Pro Pack, which upgrades the system to Windows 8 Pro, or Media Center Pack add-on for Windows 8 Pro. As with prior versions, third-party DVD player software can still be used to enable DVD playback. 117. Backup and restore. The backup component of Windows was deprecated. It still shipped with Windows 8 and continues to work on preset schedules, but it was pushed to the background and can only be accessed through a control panel applet called Windows 7 File Recovery. 118. 76 Shadow Copy, a component of Windows Explorer that once saved previous versions of changed files, no longer protects local files and folders. It can only access previous versions of shared files stored on a Windows Server computer. 118. 74 The subsystem on which these components worked, however, is still available for other software tools. 118. 74 Hardware requirements. PCs. The minimum system requirements for Windows 8 are slightly higher than those of Windows 7. The CPU must support the physical address extension, PAE, NX-bit, and SSE2. Windows Store apps require a screen resolution of 1024x768 or higher to run. A resolution of 1366x768 or higher is required to use the Snap functionality. 119. To receive certification, Microsoft requires candidate x86 systems to resume from standby in 2 seconds or less. 120. Minimum hardware requirements for Windows 8. 121. Component minimum recommended processor 1 GHz clock rate. IA32 or x64 architecture support for PAE, NX and SSE2. 122. 123. x64 architecture second level address translation, SLAT, support for hyper-memory, RAM, IA32 edition, 1 GB. x64 edition, 2 GB for graphics card DirectX 9 graphics device WDDM 1.0 or higher driver DirectX 10 graphics device display screen 1024x768 pixels input device keyboard and mouse multi-touch display screen hard disk space IA32 edition 16 GB x64 edition 20 GB other UEFI version 2.3.1 errata B with Microsoft Windows Certification Authority in its Database Trusted Platform Module, TPM, Internet Connectivity. Microsoft's Connected Standby specification, which hardware vendors may optionally comply with, sets new power consumption requirements that extend above the above minimum specifications. 124. Included in this standard are a number of security-specific requirements designed to improve physical security, notably against cold boot attacks. 32-bit SKUs of Windows 8 only support a maximum of 4 GB of RAM. 64-bit SKUs, however, support more. Windows 8 x64 supports 128 GB, while Windows 8 Pro and Enterprise x64 support 512 GB. 125. In January 2016, Microsoft announced that it would no longer support Windows 8.1 or 7 on devices using Intel's Skylake CPU family effective the 17th of July 2018, and that all future CPU microarchitectures, as well as Skylake systems after this date, would only be supported on Windows 10. After the deadline, only critical security updates were to be released for users on these platforms. 126, 127, 128, 129. After this new policy, fast criticism from users and enterprise customers, Microsoft partially retracted the change and stated that both operating systems would remain supported on Skylake hardware through the end of their extended support life cycle. Windows 8.1 remains officially unsupported on all newer CPU families, and neither AMD or Intel will provide official chipset drivers for Windows operating systems other than Windows 10. 130, 131. However, in August 2016, Microsoft again extended the Skylake support policy until the end of support for Windows 7 and 8.1. 2020 and 2023, respectively. 132, 131, tablets and convertibles. Microsoft released minimum hardware requirements for tablet and laptop devices to be certified for Windows 8 and defined a convertible form factor as a standalone device that combines the PC, display, and rechargeable power source with a mechanically attached keyboard and pointing device in a single chassis. A convertible can be transformed into a tablet where the attached input devices are hidden or removed, leaving the display as the only input mechanism. 133, 134. On the 12th of March, 2013, Microsoft amended its certification requirements to only require that screens on tablets have a minimum resolution of 1024:768, down from the previous 1366:768. The amended requirement is intended to allow greater design flexibility for future products. 135. Hardware certification requirements for Windows tablets. 136. Graphics card DirectX 10 graphics device with WDDM 1.2 or higher driver storage, 10 GB free space. After the out-of-box experience, complete a standard buttons, power, rotation lock, Windows key, volume up, volume down, screen touch screen supporting a minimum of 5-point digitizers and resolution of at least 1024:768. The physical dimensions of the display panel must match the aspect ratio of the native solution. The native resolution of the panel can be greater than 1024 horizontally and 768 vertically. Minimum native color depth is 32 bits. If the display is under 1366:768, disclaimers must be included in documentation to notify users that the snap function is not available. 135. Camera minimum 720p accelerometer 3 axis with data rates at or above 50 Hz USB 2.0 at least one controller and exposed port. Connect Wi-Fi and Bluetooth 4.0 plus low energy, other speaker, microphone, magnetometer and gyroscope. If a mobile broadband device is integrated into a tablet or convertible system, then an assisted GPS radio is required. Devices supporting near-field communication need to have visual marks to help users locate and use the proximity technology. The new button combination for Control and Alt and Del is Windows key and power. Updated certification requirements were implemented to coincide with Windows 8.1. As of 2014, all certified devices with integrated displays must contain a 720p webcam and higher quality speakers and microphones, while all certified devices that support Wi-Fi must support Bluetooth as well. As of 2015, all certified devices must contain Trusted Platform Module 2.0 chips. 137, 138 editions. Windows 8 is available in 3 different editions, of which the lowest edition, branded simply as Windows 8, and Windows 8 Pro, were sold at retail in most countries, and as preloaded software on new computers. Each edition of Windows 8 includes all of the capabilities and features of the edition below it, and additional features oriented towards their market segments. For example, Pro added BitLocker, Hyper-V, the ability to join a domain, and the ability to install Windows Media Center as a paid add-on. Users of Windows 8 can purchase a Pro Pack license that upgrades their system to Windows 8 Pro through Add Features to Windows. This license also includes Windows Media Center. 139, 140, 141. Windows 8 Enterprise contains additional features aimed towards business environments, and is only available through volume licensing. 141, a port of Windows 8 for ARM architecture. Windows RT is marketed as an edition of Windows 8, but was only included as preloaded software on devices specifically developed for it. 141, Windows 8 was distributed as a retail box product on DVD, and through a digital download that could be converted into DVD or USB install media. As part of a launch promotion, Microsoft offered Windows 8 Pro upgrades at a discounted price of $39.99 online, or $69.99 for retail box from its launch until January 31, 2013. Afterward, the Windows 8 price has been $119.99 and the Pro price $199.99. 142, 143. Those who purchased new PCs preloaded with Windows 7 Home Basic, Home Premium, Professional, or Ultimate between the 2nd of June, 2012, and the 31st of January, 2013, could digitally purchase a Windows 8 Pro upgrade for $14.99. 144. Several PC manufacturers offered rebates and refunds on Windows 8 upgrades, obtained through the promotion on select models, such as Hewlett-Packard, in the US and Canada on select models, and Acer, in Europe on selected Ultrabook models. 145, 146. During these promotions, the Windows Media Center add-on for Windows 8 Pro was also offered for free. 139. Unlike previous versions of Windows, Windows 8 was distributed at retail in upgrade licenses only, which require an existing version of Windows to install. The full version software SKU, which was more expensive but could be installed on computers without an eligible OS or none at all, was discontinued. In lieu of full version, a specialized System Builder SKU was introduced. The System Builder SKU replaced the original Equipment Manufacturer (OEM) SKU, which was only allowed to be used on PCs meant for resale but added a personal use license exemption that officially allowed its purchase and personal use by users on home-built computers. 147, 148, 149. Retail distribution of Windows 8 has since been discontinued in favor of Windows 8.1. Unlike 8, 8.1 is available as full version software at both retail and online for download that does not require a previous version of Windows in order to be installed. Pricing for these new copies remain identical. $150, with their tail release returning to full version software for Windows 8.1. The personal use license exemption was removed from the OEM SKU, meaning that end users building their own PCs for personal use must use the full retail variant in order to satisfy the Windows 8.1 licensing requirements. 147. Windows 8.1 with Bing is a special OEM-specific SKU of Windows 8.1 subsidized by Microsoft's Bing search engine. 151. Software compatibility. The three desktop editions of Windows 8 support 32-bit and 64-bit architectures. Retail copies of Windows 8 include install DVDs for both architectures, while the online installer automatically installs the variant corresponding with the architecture of the system's existing Windows installation. 139. 152. The 32-bit variant runs on CPUs compatible with x86 architecture 3rd generation, known as IA32, or newer, and can run 32-bit and 16-bit applications, although 16-bit support must be enabled. First. 153, 154, 16-bit applications are developed for CPUs compatible with x86 2nd generation. First conceived in 1978. Microsoft started moving away from this architecture after Windows 95. 153. The 64-bit variant runs on CPUs compatible with x86 8th generation, known as x86-64, or x64, or newer, and can run 32-bit and 64-bit programs. 32-bit programs and operating system are restricted to supporting only 4 GB of memory, while 64-bit systems can theoretically support 2048 GB of memory. 155. 64-bit operating systems require a different set of device drivers than those of 32-bit operating systems. 155. Windows RT. The only edition of Windows 8 for systems with ARM processors, only supports applications included with the system, such as a special variant of Office 2013, supplied through Windows Update, or Windows Store. Apps. To ensure that the system only runs applications that are optimized for the architecture. Windows RT does not support running IA32 or x64 applications. 156. Windows Store apps can either support both the x86 and ARM architectures, or compiled to support a specific architecture. 157. Support for IE10 on Windows Server 2012. 158, 159, and Windows Embedded 8 Standard, 160, ended on January 31, 2020. Reception. Pre-release. Windows 8 Ultrabooks device showcase in a Microsoft store in Toronto. Following the unveiling of Windows 8, Microsoft faced criticism, particularly from free software supporters, for mandating that devices receiving its optional certification for Windows 8 have Secure Boot enabled by default using a key provided by Microsoft. Concerns were raised that Secure Boot could prevent or hinder use of alternate operating systems such as Linux. In a post discussing Secure Boot on the Building Windows 8 blog, Microsoft developer Tony Mainfist indicated that vendors would provide means to customize Secure Boot, stating that at the end of the day the customer is in control of their PC. Microsoft's philosophy is to provide customers with the best experience first, and allow them to make decisions themselves. 84, 161. Microsoft's certification guidelines for Windows 8 ultimately revealed that vendors would be required to provide means for users to reconfigure or disable Secure Boot in their device's UEFI firmware. It also revealed that ARM devices, Windows RT, would be required to have Secure Boot permanently enabled, with no way for users to disable it. However,